Our speaker today is Jill Lublin. She's a very charismatic and committed teacher trainer. She helps people a lot with marketing and publicity. She's strong. She's a strong teacher, and she is a 4-time best-selling author. I'm very happy to introduce our speaker today, Jill Lublin. Jill?
Thank you so much, Brooke and Diana. I'm just delighted to be back at the Inside Edge with all of you and appreciate all of you coming this morning. You know, today I'm talking to you about kindness, and particularly based on my newest book, The Profit of Kindness. And in fact, go ahead to the next slide, because what's interesting is that 15% of our financial success comes, of course, through knowledge and skills. And interestingly enough, 85% of financial success is literally formed out of our ability to connect with others. And what I have found, particularly with writing The Profit of Kindness, is how much kindness not only gives our life, of course, so much meaning, but also really enables us to connect at a deeper level in business. It has been shown that companies who create more kindness, well, guess what? They have higher profit margins. They have more fulfilled employees. They have happier customers. And it's just been a really wonderful journey of finding out how kindness has been so powerful to really impact so many others. And in fact, go ahead to the next slide, because what I want to show you, which I thought was really interesting, Panera Bread Company, you've probably hopefully all gotten a sandwich there once or twice maybe. And you know, it was a great story that I found this grandson of a woman, his grandma was actually dying. And he went to Panera Bread Company on a Tuesday because, well, she wanted clam chowder. And turns out Panera Bread does not make clam chowder on Tuesday. They make it on Friday. But when this young man walked into a small, you know, new Panera Bread Company franchise, and he said, you know, my grandma is dying and she wants clam chowder. Would you be willing to make it? I know you don't make it on Tuesday. And by golly, that woman, you know what she said? Well, I'm going to make that clam chowder. And she did. She made him clam chowder. She gave him a tin of cookies. Well, take a look at how many likes. It is over 300,000 engagement in kindness in action. That story. And let me tell you, that woman behind the cash register who was making probably, you know, minimum wage in a small town became a regional manager, still works with the company. Why? Because she practiced a kindness in action. And that is what's so powerful, is being kind every day, consistently and continuously. Whether you're working or not working, what we know is how good it is for your body, for your brain, for your friendships, for your life, for your heart. And those who are kind not only give, but also receive so much more. And I just think that is such a powerful and profound action. And you know what I love lately is how prevalent the word kindness is in the marketplace. I live in the Northern California area, and Dignity Health, a major health provider, is going around with buses that talk about the human kindness campaign. Honda, if you've seen any of their commercials, Honda, the car company, is doing kindness commercials. It's just really interesting to me about how much and how much kindness impacts the marketplace today. So go ahead to the next slide, because when I wrote The Profit of Kindness, what I ended up doing was defining what I call return on kindness principles, or the 7 pathways to kindness. And so you can see on the slide all of them and what they're called, but I actually want to go through them one by one, just fairly quickly with you. And then afterwards, we're going to put you into a breakout session where you can actually talk about them. So go ahead to the next slide, because what I found with this is generosity. Let's talk generosity for a minute. Obviously, when you're more generous, you are kind. right? And so giving back is really important. And I saw a wonderful chats. Thank you for your give backs and your generosity and helping I think it was excuse me, I can't remember, the elephant seal or on the beach, right? Taking your friends to a wonderful kind of tourism, that's generous time. I mean, the truth is really all we have every day is our time, right? Our energy, money, and resources. So let's use them well. And generosity is a key to that. How about next slide? Compassion. Compassion, my gosh, we really need that these days, don't we? In terms of compassion for others, the reactions, the things that are happening out in the world. Compassion is a real key. And you know what's been interesting to me through the whole COVID piece here is that compassion and kindness have been two words that I hear a lot, and I'm sure you hear them a lot too. Another return on kindness principle, go ahead to the next slide, is gratitude. And I think it's really important. Diane, I loved how you said, that was so great, about how you acknowledge every day, you know, something that you're grateful for. And I think that's really a key. I learned from Oprah Winfrey about, you know, to name 5 things I'm grateful for. And I actually do that every single night. I just do it verbally out loud. And that makes a big difference. I like also opening with gratitude for the day, because frankly, it helps, don't you think? You know, always being and finding grateful opportunities. What I've noticed, if I have a moment of anxiety or things that are happening in this world right now, what I do is I start looking for things to be grateful for. And that really helps shift energy and makes a big difference for me. Well, the next one is positivity. So here's the truth. You can focus on what is happening wrong in the world, or you can look at what's positive and focus on positive, even if you have to make it up for yourself and what's positive for you in your life, because I'm sure there are many things. I remember one day being on the, I live on water, kind of very Florida kind of scene. And it's interesting, I went to the edge on the dock of the bay. Yes, that is a song too. And I sat on the dock, and I remember looking to my right, and there were these clouds, kind of dark clouds. You know, it looked kind of ominous, like it was going to rain that day. And then interestingly enough, I looked to the left, and it was bright and sunny. And it was this dichotomy in one day. I'm sure we've seen those kinds of days where you'll look up and you'll see dark clouds and looks like it's going to rain. But if you look somewhere in the sky, it also might look very bright. And for me, that really put into my brain about the power of looking sometimes in the direction where the bright is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just amazing that all I had to do was turn my head, and it was a bright and shiny and sunny day. So I kept my head to the left in that moment. And for me, that was a really valuable lesson about how important it is for where you look and what you're looking at and what you're looking for, which led me to the chapter on positivity. So go ahead to the next slide, because I think flexibility, you know, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be broken. And I just think in today's world, what I've noticed, right, with my clients, with my virtual publicity classes, I mean, flexibility is so key in everything that I do now, because people's rhythms are slightly different, especially being at home. There's people I've noticed, I don't know about you, sometimes they've missed calls or been late to things. Timing has been off a bit. And so what I know is that flexibility is really key. So practice flexibility every single day. And I don't just mean yoga. I mean in your life. I mean sort of bringing in that compassion part. So it's okay if somebody's a few minutes late or things have to be rearranged at times. Flexibility is really key. And I think particularly going forward in the marketplace, in the world, that actually flexibility is one of the most important pieces on my return on kindness pathways that will actually guarantee success. Flexibility is key. And the next one, connection. Oh, patience. Okay, we'll do patience. Because funny enough, being patient is actually, let me just tell you, when I was writing the Profit of Kindness and I came to the chapter on patience, can I suggest to you that that I wasn't feeling very patient? And in fact, to be honest, I'm kind of a fast thinking kind of person. Patience is probably the most difficult one for me out of these 7 traits. And that's particularly why I wanted to write about it, because of course, in the writing about it, it's helpful in the practice of it, right? And I remember calling the utility company. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I'm sure we've all had these experiences where you're waiting on the phone for like an hour, right? When you're calling, sometimes, it could be your credit card companies, the car companies, the all kinds of, your mortgage companies, and particularly the utility companies. And by the time they came to me, I remember her saying, "Oh, thank you for your patience." And out of my mouth came, "Well, who said I was patient?" I love when people, yeah, thank you, Brooke. I love when people thank me for my patience, because I'm thinking, well, who said I was patient? It's just funny, but it's like an assumptive thing. And it's helpful in the practice of patience to keep practicing patience. So I just love that. I thought that was really funny. Go ahead to the next slide, because connection is so key. And particularly in today's moments, I think connection is really a key. I love that we're meeting on Zoom. I love that meetings are continuing to happen no matter what's going on in the world, because we need each other now more than ever. And seeing each other through Zoom and seeing each other through the ways that we get to connect is really powerful. I love it. I'm on these Zoom meetings, and little kids are wandering in, and people's grandkids and pets and whatever, right? They're all running through the room, and it's kind of cool because you get to see people's lives in action. And in a certain way, I think it actually has helped some of us even feel closer to each other. So I just have loved the connection. And I'll tell you that connection, interestingly enough, when I was writing the book, connection was the last word that came in. And what I realized is how important it was, because this book got written due to my 85-year-old friend. And I've been caring for her as she's been growing older. In the process, she needed help. She needed people to get her and take her to lunch, and take her to doctor's appointment. I remember running over there when she fell down one day, and she called in the middle of my workday. And one day when I was taking her out, because she didn't get out a lot, and I said, she looked at me and she goes, "You are so kind, and I wish that other people would be kinder." She said, "Wouldn't it be great if we had a new currency, the currency of kindness?" And it's my connection with Gloria that I thank to this day for helping develop the Profit of Kindness, for being an inspiration because of our connection to write this book in the words she said to me. Because what I want you to hear is the words people say to you are often the very thing that inspires the next idea, the power of your next project. And I wish for all of you that same connection with all of the people around you. So what I'd love to do is put you into breakout rooms. Go ahead to the next slide. Because what we're going to ask you is, which trait do you find you practice the most and why? And which trait do you need to practice more of and why? Can I tell you, I want to share something that's a great segue to tell you one thing that I wanted to share. If I may, Rebecca, go ahead to the slide on the Profit of Kindness, because I actually want to share something about the book and what happened, because honestly, I'm a publicity person, and I'm looking at how does kindness tie into publicity? And I, of course, being in publicity, understand the value and the power of it. So my intention was to create and get publicity. So I'm going to share something that I sat back like I would with any of my clients, and I thought, well, what's the focus of this book, and how can I get more publicity? Because frankly, as much as I'd love to say, woo, Jill's got a new book out, that's the story. It's not the story. It never is. Your business, your books, etc. So what I realized is our United States is really been the divided states of America, and that story is the story that got me out into 7 Fox News TV interviews in the first week, including Arizona, Las Vegas, Sacramento, Oakland, and CBS TV morning show in Virginia. Literally been on over 75 radio and podcasts and counting. In fact, I did 8 radio shows last week talking about the branding issues of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and the Dixie Chicks,
Wow.
right? Yeah,
Wow.
It's been really wonderful.
That would be fascinating.
Isn't that fun? Inc. magazine twice and Forbes magazine twice. And when you have a moment, go look at the profitofkindness.com. And one of the inspirations that has been really precious for me is a seed that God planted in my heart was to form kindness circles. And they are completely free. They happen every month. I'd love to invite you to the next one. Maybe Rebecca can put it in the chat. It's July 31st from 10 to 11:30. And we'll put how you register, which is jilllublin.com/kindness circles. And go ahead to the next slide, because one of the things that relates to one of the comment that someone else said, you know, people say practice a random act of kindness. I want you to practice a conscious act of kindness every single day. Diana said she reaches out, you know, and it helps flow the energy so that it's not just about you. And what I find is that every single day I will write someone a card. By the way, sending letters has become my new act of kindness. Who doesn't love to receive mail now these days? Actual mail. Wow, what a concept, right? And that's sometimes an act of kindness. Or send a text to someone, Diana, as you said, or just do something so that I know I'm in the practice consciously. That's the difference, not randomly, but consciously, the act of kindness every single day.
I did want to ask Jill, what I'm so happy to hear about, you know, what's been happening for you. What's next with this book? What's next with your work? Give us a few minutes on that.
Oh, thank you so much. So part of what's next is developing the kindness circle, and I invite you all in. That's been a lot of fun. And then what happened for me in all of this pandemic is that I actually completely redid my publicity course, which has been a wonderful way for me to help all kinds of people, whether you're writing a book or a business or sort of the next phase of whatever you're working on. And Rebecca, go ahead and show this slide. I'm going to actually show you that I've created this wonderful virtual publicity course. And I made it just really easy for everybody to come into. And that's been a really exciting project for me. So I teach a publicity course. It's one day, it's virtual. I'll show you a little bit about it. It's a small group, and we actually craft your message and actually get down and figure out what makes sense to get your message out. And people leave with 3 documents actually done and 4 templates they can use forever. And any project you're working on. So people have taken it for all kinds of projects, for nonprofits, for books they might want to come out with. I know, Karen, you mentioned that. You know, different projects for different people, but most importantly, the truth about publicity is it will drive everything you do. So what I'd love to do in honor of being back here is let you know how you can play with me, and I invite you into the publicity course.
Thank you for sharing
You're
that.
welcome.
And thank you for letting us know what you're up to.